like magic, we are live on X for the time being. Looking forward to this one. We have the Museum of Crypto Art team. They've been building with Eliza for, I don't know, what, 12 months you said? It's like since the start. And they've got a pretty vast suite of tooling that enables, well, it's right at the intersection of NFTs and agents. So I won't spoil too much, but we're going to basically run through that and just have a bit of a jam session today with the team. Renee, I just dropped you the X link if you want to share that. And I'll do the good stuff on the amplification. If you guys are listening and you have an X that you can share this from, please do. It's always good to get some extra visibility whilst we have issues over there. But yeah, looking forward to this one.
Yeah, me too. I think we are going to show the Vibe Studio as it is right now and just like jam around a bit.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I bought my first MOCA today. I bought two actually. So,
woohoo!
Yeah, that's the way.
One of us.
No, I wanted one before. It took me. I actually looked through like 10 times. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to get because they're all very different, right?
Yeah, like really, really different.
Cool.
Can you share my screen?
Yeah, if you share your screen, yeah, cool. Let's bring it up. Yeah, cool. So I mean, just Museum of Crypto Art from the top. It's Renil, you can introduce it much better than I can imagine. So yeah, over to you.
Like we are a museum. Let me quickly show you our X. Like we've been in the space around NFTs since 2017 and 2020-21. We founded the museum. Have been building like all kinds of like metaverse architecture stuff, and for 1 year we are now working with ElizaOS. Like we've been building with the Hyperfy founders and their whole M3 hackerspace folks for many years already. And when they shared their stuff about Eliza, like Shaw and Jin and a couple of others, we immediately understood that we are going to build an interactive or AI-fueled museum. So everything that was like static and showcasing art and stuff is going to be interactive. And for that, we have created this new Vibe Studio, which resolves around the 10K NFT project that we have.
Nice.
We have like, quickly load this, 10,000 absolutely unique NFTs that are up to 4K in quality, like super high resolution stuff. All of them unique. And the cool thing is that all of them also have like a unique story to them. So in the codex, we have like 100 million words generated with frontier models explaining the personalities and the history and everything for each individual like deco, and each deco has their favorite things, is a particular writing behavior, like lots of data that you see here, which is going to be used for the creation of an ElizaOS profile. And then of course also like further applications in the Vibe Studio. Like for example, on the top, everybody has like a place where they live, so you can then hop into the deco world map to find all the different art decos where they homed, and from here you can just click and get back into the codex to learn more about them. That way we have this modular application which allows people to interact with our collection. You can of course also log in and spin up your own ElizaOS container with your agents that you own. We have like an adoption center if you don't own one yet. You see two in here. You can click that. This pulls like the cheapest decos at the full hour from OpenSea, and aggregates a bit more data and allows you to also, chat with them, the ones that are spun up in the ElizaOS demo container. Hey, how are you doing today? Can be like interacted with. You can meet them, and then you decide like, you know, which one speaks best to me, and hit buy, and then you can, you know, grab one from
I mean,
floor.
you made that sound quite easy, as in like the experience that somebody goes through to be able to do that is, you know, it's a few clicks, right? And they've been able to chat. But on the back end, you've done some interesting pieces around, I don't know if decentralized inference is the right thing, but open inference. Obviously, it's built with Eliza. We're then using compute.ai. And that's kind of coming together to create kind of an interesting, I don't know if primitive is quite the right word, but you know, interesting foundation for kind of like bringing NFTs to life. I don't know if there's anything else you can add there.
Yeah, I think this repository shows it quite well. Like we are fully into like open source. We have open sourced this entire like codex interface that you saw earlier, like this one, for other NFT collections and communities to like fork and populate with their own data, their trades, and the way their community would interact with whatever collection you might have. We have like a pretty dope interface here that you can like fork and use for free.
Nice.
But also what comes with that is the Codex API, another open source repository, which allows people to get the media assets, like everything is documented there. So this is what that's the backend that fuels like these different apps, like the map or the codex. Like all the data comes from that endpoint. So every other NFT community can use our code to replicate this stuff that we've created. And the core of the museum, I think that's also nice to visit. Like the main museum, we have like a knowledge graph that all of our Deco agents, the ElizaOS agents, can like hook into and harness like a knowledge graph full of information about Web3 and crypto art and again our own history. So their agents can be enriched using that ElizaOS plugin with all that knowledge. And we are like constantly like increasing the capabilities and like all the data inside our own library, but we will also enable other projects to build up a library for their community so that their agents, ElizaOS agents, can hook into their instance. This is something like what we've been working on. Obviously, we also have like our art collections displayed here. Like all of this code is open source and can be grabbed and adjusted by other projects. This is something that is an essential part of fueling the apps that the community is building for the MOCA Vibe Studio with intelligence. We have a couple of cool things already, and I know that somebody's working on a meme generator. I know that somebody's want to build like an escape room experience where you maybe take Nano Banana 2, generate a couple of scenarios where you throw in different decos with their background, story from their codex.
Yeah.
Like throw in this and then let that influence the scenario in real time as you interact with it, using Hermes 4, probably Hermes 470B, the news research model that we grab from compute, and then can really like grow this into a vibrant community where everybody can get vested into the progress that is being made here by just getting a deco from the adoption center or from OpenSea. We have for all the whales, another one left. The adoption center, we have like also for the whales, of course, is a link to the storefront, so you can go wild. Did that myself a couple of times, and I might dump my Monad airdrop into this today. Let's see. Okay, enough chill. Yeah,
What's
this is
the
building, right?
what was like the so your background? Yeah, what is your background and like what led you to start building this? What's the yeah, what was your like?
We are very, or I'm very like tech savvy and always try to understand the bleeding edge and like integrate, go hands on with the bleeding edge of technology. So this combined with our background as a museum and like the artistic side, and we have lots of artists in our community, brought us to this point where we said like, let's create our own app store and fill it with like interactive AI experiences around arts and culture. And the decos are our PFP collection. We also have a token, and currently we rework the tokenomics, discussing internally migrations due to like increased capabilities that we would have on the token front if we do that, which can be plugged. You know, you can imagine that every application here could have like monetization around X402 using our token or using stable coins that plug into token buybacks. We have like lots of stake in Hyperfi as a corp, and then also access to compute and Venice AI, those two platforms delivering different models that we are using, and we can like forward that stake to deco holders and
nice.
token holders to like, you know, forward it into their assets.
So
allow them to become smart.
So the use of X402. So what the agent that is so once the NFT becomes a character, once the agent, I don't know if it's the right thing to say that NFT comes alive, but once the NFT and the corresponding character reference, let's say, is agentic, then that can be used. What is that kind of how X402 would be interacting with it, or it's kind of every time
you can
it's used somewhere, it's kind of there's a
I think like it would probably use like apps and payment rails for agents, like in an agentic sense. That's something I can imagine, but also like the user or our community members or people from out the community finding useful apps in our like in the Vibe Studio, and then start to build, and maybe some functionality require you to pay some token via an X402 transaction, which is then immediately turned back into MOCA or like, you know, moved in whatever way makes sense for that particular app or use case. So this is right now our idea, like how this can monetize and how the thing can be scaled around our token and around our assets, while giving every builder like open source templates and share everything we build ourselves, so that it can grow organically from within the community, like how people interface and build with the Vibe Studio.
I mean, they're so beautiful, man. Did you do the art as well? The team?
Most of the art is from Untitled, and then also Los Caballos, friends from Argentina, like a small design crew who are doing fantastic work. They also helped us with 01, another project that me and my dev shop are helping build. So we are like deeply involved in MOCA and in 01.
Cool.
And that really gives us pretty neat aesthetics. Also, you can like remix with Nano Banana, like for example, the Codex Boy. Untitled created that, and then we can now like shape it into like different motions or like positions to generate the app preview images, you know, for particular things. So we will also have a 3D VRM of this, and this will be the default deco museum curator. So when you enter one of our museums, you will be able to go in there, and then you could imagine like non-deco related art on the wall, whatever art exhibition that uses our stack that we've built over the past years. That will get intelligence. So we have the metadata of the artworks that are displayed on a tokenized exhibition object. That's something that we've built earlier. And then as we know the metadata and we know the artist of that artwork on that wall, we can then shove that into the context window of our library and ask the library agent, like, do you know about this art piece, about this artist? Like, tell me a sophisticated story that I can, share with a museum visitor. And then you go to speech and then back speech to text and have like an interactive art experience and exhibition experience that can scale from the Web3 space really into any other museum out there. So MOCA has been in touch with, for example, the MoMA in New York. We are pretty close with them, and then many smaller museums around the globe. So we can give them the entire like museum repository, which contains the whole knowledge graph system, which is using R2R in the backend. It's like called Rag to Riches, a retrieval augmented generation system, RESTful API. So we're using this in our repository, and then aggregate a lot of other functionalities, which leads to like, this thing that I already showed, where you can pour in your own PDFs and markdown files and data into the library, let it learn for, let's say, 24 hours. I think it takes around 24 hours when you throw in 2,000 PDFs around that size.
Yeah.
Like a language model creates like all this entities out of the data and like connects them with additional descriptions. Like it will read about Museum of Crypto Art, for example, save that as an entity. And at another point, they will read about Corbin Bell, founder of the museum art, and it will create like a relation between those data points. And when a user, after all of that happened, asks a question around the content in that system, it is very fast in replying using the news research models.
So you say you upload 40 pages of information about...
We've uploaded 1,000 PDFs. Wow. Probably, I don't know. Those are like interviews that we scraped from blogs of friends who allowed us to do that. And then we are aggregating more and more, of course. So the cool thing is that it also has the sources. So you can read the entire article inside the library where this information is coming from. And you can like really use this as a research tool also.
Awesome. Nice. I guess to anyone listening, if you have any questions, we'll just see if there's any questions coming in from the community. If you have any questions you want to put to the team, feel free to put them over. Just some feedback, really. So I really like the Vibe Studio design, very clean and easy to navigate. It's all organized very well too. I didn't get lost anywhere in this presentation at all. That's good to hear.
I hope we have a recording.
Yeah, that's from Stop Loss and Take Profit. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ping it over. Yeah, I mean, the other, I mean, just the on the note of, you mentioned NAS research there and then compute AI. I thought that was really cool when I saw it. And like when it comes to buying an NFT, having, just generally speaking as well, like the way that I see, so the space or the agent space or autonomous agent space going is that we kind of have like these reactive agents that are not fully autonomous as people might imagine. There's a few things that need to happen for these agents to become the autonomous tools that people kind of imagine they are right now. One of those is open standards. You kind of touched on X402, 8004 is another one, but like the use of decentralized infra, or at least more, let's say, resilient infra, I think is another really important area. I've never seen anyone pull together NAS research, compute, and ElizaOS into something that is, underpinning an agent. And I guess like this could be an autonomous system, like it would be autonomous agents operating in the virtual world, right? So I guess that's crucial for it. But yeah, is there anything more?
Sorry, I just want to add the one of the unique things I think we did was in the codex, basically part of the codex page for each deco character is their ElizaOS character profile, which is used for sort of the first generation of their agentic existence, if you will. But that's not all the codex page is. It's actually larger than that, and the core of the codex page is actually extended information that goes considerably beyond what's in the ElizaOS character profiles in the current version. And the idea behind that is that sort of as technology progresses, as ElizaOS updates its character profile specifications down the road, we're not going to be sort of stuck having to kind of redo everything from scratch and like try and see if we can match things, but rather in the codex page for each character we have like quite an extensive sort of personality and character and background definition that is actually very well suited and intended from the get-go to eventually be sort of reconstituted into progressively more faithful agentic realizations of the underlying character.
Yeah, nice. Interesting. So you see this evolving over time as agents become a bit more, let's say, sophisticated, and the virtual world is the first primitive, but you see this space evolving as...
Yeah, I mean, also like in Discord, like the metaverse is really everything. Twitter, Farcaster, Discord. Like the good thing is by using ElizaOS, we have access to all of that. So people can, if you own a deco, you have like free access to the news compute model, and we basically pay compute or have a deal with compute through our staking that we can offer our like NFT holders that intelligence for free, and that has a particular value. Like access to that already is something that these days can be meaningful. And then in addition to that, I mean, obviously we have like all the art and like the vibes. The cool thing with like building the memetics on a new level with technology that is just coming like from around the corner.
Nice. Is that genuinely random? It's being made at this as you're clicking it?
Yeah, we want to...
Not yet, but maybe soon.
Yeah,
maybe soon. We are currently looking for like digging which nano banana APIs we can use, but there are like the amount of stuff that you can do with any meme template plus the character image is just like this non-background version where you have already the cut out deco. You just copy paste that into Nano Banana with the meme template and 2 taglines, and it's going to create a merged version. And that,
of that
like,
particular
if we
meme.
can give that to our community, I think that can be pretty powerful. Stuff like this is a one-shot.
Yeah. I mean, I caught up with Nados yesterday from Compute. He was sharing how you can now basically run Quen on a piece of on one of the compute pieces of hardware. It's not the right word. One of the GPUs, and basically call that as you need to using X402. Like that's the type of thing that you could plug into that meme generator, right? And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Very cool. So another, just one question from, well, actually another bit of feedback. So I've no specific question, but I find this use case very interesting. Definitely check out MOCA. Yeah, you should. And have you considered supporting inscriptions at all down the line, or are you sticking with the standard NFTs?
I think whatever we do it's probably EVM compatible, as it then allows us to hook it into like the value of the actual NFT. So we've been tinkering with that, with like cross-chain references of like new dataset entries, for example, on Polygon or Base or whatever, that you can then attach to any given NFT on mainnet and use these kind of methods, and then maybe a new smart contract with the 804 standard around agents, plugging that to the EVM contract of the NFT, and then extend the value that is being grown around the, you know, the actual like art decos up to a point where even the last person understands that this is like next gen compared to the NFTs that we saw in the early days. I mean, I'm in this since 2017, and I helped to like start POAP, like the proof of attendance protocol, in 2019. So I've been in this space for quite some time, and I've seen and know most of the stuff that is happening. And up to the point where we launched, and I would say up to this point, I haven't seen anything novel from other teams, except those which are already working on dank stuff like for years and are pushing that out, like Cyber Brokers with the 3D drifters, or like Forgotten Runes. There are a couple of communities that are working their ass off, no matter bear or bull. And all the other trash out there that left the space because they couldn't like stand building in it, compare this to those people or these projects, and then make a decision if it's worth to like join us on this journey and join like as like the most aesthetically pleasing ElizaOS PFP project out there. It's all the stuff that we have in this, and like enjoy the ride.
I like it. It's very cool. It's pretty interesting. Like many people think like agents are doing so much more than they are, and like I just think there's so much more to come still. It's very cliche to say, but this is like a really good, like it's a really solid foundation for bringing art to life using agents and a kind of intersection of NFTs and artwork. I mean, there's a standard called 8041, which is by Prem, who was involved with ENS and is now co-founder of Unriggable Domains.
I definitely have to talk to them.
Yeah. It's kind of like NFT collections, giving agents identity and then having NFT collections that can interact with each other. Like bringing together a collection of NFTs in this world that maybe have different traits, but, you know, share information with each other. And that's also quite cool. But yeah, ElizaOS, obviously, that would be a straight up identifier for if people wanted to, if you did want to monetize the activity of one of these NFTs, you could use that as a point of reference for people to come and discover each piece of artwork, which is just a very simple primitive that it's one of those things, as I'm saying, like we're not going to have this agent to agent economy if an agent can't discover another agent. Like that's just not possible at the minute, at least not in a standardized way. So until that becomes uniform, and it might not be 8004 that does that, it might be something else, but yeah, like we're not going to have this underbelly of activity that people might assume on blockchains, but it's coming. Which is
it's usually getting created out of experimentation, and then once we have like a solid standard and all can align around that, like this potential one, I think it just makes sense to like also use the codex and our project as like reference, like all of this is JSON, and see what kind of stuff an on-chain agent might want to have, like longitude, latitude, coordinates, where do they live, like ensure that biography, or I like this one, like a confession that combined with the description or biography, it gives you like a pretty good idea about what this is. And you will need in different UXs or user interfaces and user experiences, you will need these fields to, you know, when you select an agent in whatever, like in the ElizaOS cloud, you want to have like something like this, you know. The ElizaOS agent profile covers a lot of that, but if we want to like find a new standard, we should like make it so flexible that it can like contain a growing set of fields and like get aggregated over time and like versioned on different IPFS hashes, so that you can like scroll back in the future to like the codex of any particular character in every given year. I think if they keep that in mind, we should definitely chat with them and start to integrate what they've built.
Nice.
Yeah, because I mean we're definitely continuing to work and in no way done. I think the codex has been out for, what is it, Renee, barely over a month, and like we already have ideas for directions in which to extend it with additional metadata, some new, some extrapolated.
Nice.
It's a living project, basically.
Yeah, I would say. So this is, I think, it feels like it's going to be our most long-term thing. Now that we have the APIs live and people can join us, build around the codex, I think, like if you want to contribute into this, just join our Discord, and like we have like dev channels there and build stuff together.
Cool. Yeah. And so what's your favorite MOCA that's on maybe on OpenSea at the minute? What's the one that you think? What's your favorite?
Oh God! After you show your favorite, Renee, can you show the distracted boyfriend meme, the very first one?
Yeah. Let me grab it. It's this one.
That's an early deco from a point in like the generation workflow that was still quite early, and honestly, we may not have too many art decos that were generated with that exact. Well, it's still varied, but that particular variant or version of the workflow. But this one was just so freaking bizarre that we had to throw it in the keep pile, even as we continued to refine the particulars of the image generation workflow.
It's quite the image, isn't it?
and perfect for this meme, of course.
Yeah.
So do you own that one, I guess?
That one, I think, for the team has sort of a deep history in the development. Like that guy, or girl, I'm not sure, through merit became a deco, I think, so early that we probably still didn't have like a clear idea of what was going to be like the fuller aesthetic and visual breadth and diversity of characters. But like this was just so bizarre and ridiculous that we knew this had to be part of the pantheon of decos that we were building.
Nice. And Renil, what's your favorite? I'm gonna try and buy it.
This is pretty dope, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's a good meme. Let me check mine. Let me check my inventory. And this one is pretty sick. Wow. There are a couple of like cool. where you have like a paper in there, and then like things go wild. I also like the Wojak style. We have the Doomer somewhere. If both of them hit together, it's awesome.
Are these new? Have you filtered this?
Yeah, we curated down. I think you have the numbers.
Oh God, I think we generated in excess of in excess of 350,000 characters were curated down to the 10K.
Okay, nice.
It was a thrilling, exciting journey for us, and I think eventually perhaps a bit of a sanity robbing experience for our curators, mainly Max and Colborn.
Well, you gotta push, haven't you, for the quality? Yeah, nice. And what's like, I don't know if like what's next, or like what's the next few months look like? I mean, I've been watching you for like probably like a year, not like physically watching you, but watching the project. So it's pretty cool to see you get to where you're at right now, which is quite a substantial platform. But like, what are you excited about working on next? Like, where do you think this can go? Yeah, all of the above.
I think mostly building up interactive like experiences around memetics, culture, like, low attention span stuff where you can get interactive and creative with these assets using all the API data that we have like built up over the last year, and allow other builders to harness the same. And then, of course, also thinking about and integrating the whole monetization around what we've built. So we already have like built like an MCP server for like the library, and like you can measure different light LLM routers, for example, which plug into that, how many tokens you get in and out. You could like invoice using Exfo to like the millions tokens in out from our knowledge graph that agents use by the plugin. Like all of these rails need to be built. We already have the ideas and like start working on it, but that will take some time to get that right. And until that, and in parallel, we will like constantly like increase like the apps in this Vibe Studio, and then I would say all of these things are coming together in a mix of like true utility, true fun, something that's worth your attention, something that's interesting. And in the end, maybe like 5 years from now, we have like a suite of stuff that when the real world museums are ready, can just like use and replicate what we did with MOCA in the digital realm, but like like on their physical spaces. Like you can imagine like AI driven like terminals where you can learn about MOCA. You could put that into any museum of the world. They can use the same technology to fuel their own version about it for any room inside a given museum or each theme or exhibition. Like all of the stuff that we build is built with this in mind, that can be replicated by real museums in the physical world, who usually don't have budget to build out huge stacks and technology. But if we open source everything that we build, give it to them for free, then all of it that's required is like they pouring in their collections, they pouring in their documents, and I don't know, whatever they have that should be in that digital landscape that they can then host for free.
Very cool.
So giving back to arts and culture worldwide is something we always did, and which we'll continue to do. And if the museum like grows in its capabilities, also like volume, size, community output, then I think it can be pretty relevant to be part of this, tribe that has been forming and shaping crypto art and NFTs since it first started, basically.
Just like as you're talking through that as well, Eliza, I'm just exploring how do we, let's say, display the agent ecosystem that we have. We have so many people building different things, and the old ecosystem page has been done and maybe done again and again and again. Like maybe just even applying this kind of primitive to the agents that we have in our ecosystem. Like, can we bring it into a virtual world? Can we give them a big description? It'd be pretty useful to be able to do that. It's not something I've seen before. And we could probably get the character files from each of the agents that we have built, and like maybe we could put that together fairly easily. But yeah, I mean, yeah, interesting. Cool.
Yeah, I really look forward to building this together. Like, you've been a great team, and I knew before it was even started that those are builders and not talkers. And if those people gather similar minds around them, it's just unstoppable. And we've seen that. Like, ElizaOS has been through pretty crazy ups and downs, but I feel this is just like getting started, you know, despite any price or stuff. Like, I don't even look at that. Don't care.
You can call it ups and downs, I guess. a lot of energy in the
massively.
In the I mean, it started very volatile, like with a lot of volatility, but it's been a lot of fun. I think, you know, we're kind of like being at DevConnect this week as well. We have so many people building on it still. Like, we have people coming up to the booth just being like, hey, like, I just wanted to let you know I've done this. I was like, what? You know, I sat down, I met the guys from Hats Protocol over a dinner, and they're like, yeah, we built this governance agent using ElizaOS. I was just like, what? It's like, how much stuff actually happened in that period of time that we're still like learning about at the minute. It is insane. So yeah, that's good to hear that. And this
everything is
cool.
more solid, you know. Everything that you've built, like the early stages were like pretty volatile and crazy, and new code bases left and right, and something was old from one day to another. But I think now everything is pretty stable, and as a developer, you don't need to refactor on weekly basis anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's all learning, and I loved how the like rapid output of vibe coded websites. It's actually something you guys prototyped for me. Like, the way that growth was conveyed was only possible as a couple of pioneers used this bleeding edge tag for code generation, image, whatever, video generation, to spread the memetics, to spread interactive experiences, but it lacked the hub. Like, we were part of that process, and we thought, like, we need to do this ourselves and like grow like this with MOCA, but it needs to have like the central hub where all the applications will just like be linked forever until they're offline, so that you can always have a single URL that you share. Otherwise, it's just getting too confusing for the average people to follow up with.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our take on that. But I think, like, yeah, once we have it open source, I think we still need to like grab some keys out of that or whatever. I will hit you up, and then you can just pour your own URLs and whatever.
Sounds good.
Title, description, and URL, and then you can categorize them.
And if there's anything you want to do in the Eliza community, like, feel free to have a think. And yeah, I don't know if I can't think of anything initially, but yeah, if you guys ever want to come in, interact with them, get them a collection, put them in a virtual world, you know, feel free. It'd be pretty cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, let's call that a wrap. It's been great to dive in. It's been great to dive in. It's really cool. I think it'd be cool to see how 8004 can be used in this. And if you don't know, Prem, can connect to you, but those two things we're not exploring 8041 at the moment, but yeah, we dived in again at DevConnect last week, and there's definitely something interesting there, like launching agents in swarms. Those swarms can communicate with each other. You know, just agents in general aren't that, let's say, reliable yet to be able to independently communicate with each other, and over time things you know, don't start to go downhill quite quickly. But as a primitive and as something that we can experiment with short term, there's definitely something there, and this would be like the right place to do it, I think.
For sure. Yeah, let's do
question.
that. Let's do a visual world show.
Yeah. Prem wants to come in and do a workshop as well, so maybe you guys could collab and we'll just jam together. So Stop Plus AK Tech Profit says, can you interact with one of the entities in the metaverse right now, or is that not ready yet?
It's not ready yet. Like we currently have the chat interface that comes with ElizaOS with the Docker. We have Discord integration very soon, and then the Avatar VRM or Eliza VRM stack that has been built by the Eliza team. That is going to be the glue that we use to bring the personas into like 3D space. So we already tinkered around with processes that we show this to you, that tinker with like the representation of these beings in 3D. So this guy down here is like a open source image gen or like 3D gen meshing thing that Untitled has been working on.
Nice.
And yeah, we are going to like build to a more automated version of that.
Cool. We'll keep us in the loop. Do you want me to bring up that screen?
Yeah, just like flew out. Like this is another shot. You know, these models get better. You find the right prompt. You can already with Nano Banana create a full size avatar out of these images. You can put it in memes. You can do whatever you want. So there will be a good pipeline soon to get like V1 3D VRMs automatically generated for these decos. But we don't know when that will be. We are also waiting for Hyperfy to launch their next major steps. I'm sure Ash is like working like crazy on interesting infra stuff on that front. Computers getting more capable. The agent framework gets more capable. So we are so tied around all of that I think we are going to like weave stuff together as it's becoming possible in an effective way without losing hundreds of hours, because that would be the old way of creating hand-created like modular 3D avatars. But let's see if we can tackle that in a novel way.
Nice. Well, you'll have to come back and share.
Of course, I will. Maybe let's see how many apps we have in the Vibe Studio next time.
Yeah. Well, look, thanks for diving in, Renaud. I do need to hop, but yeah, it's great to run through this all. There's a few questions in the Discord, I guess, that I don't know if you want to go back and say hello to them.
I commented to the Discord.
Yeah. Cool. Nice one. I'm going to end the stream. Let's call that a wrap. And